Anybody who's been a drum corps fan for any amount of time probably has someone they'd like to see in the Drum Corps International Hall of Fame, but they may not know exactly how to go about that. Can anybody be nominated? Who does? What's the process? I'm Dan Potter with Steve Rondinero, who is a Hall of Famer himself and is here to explain the process to us. Steve, it's Hall of Fame season.
Yes, it is, Dan. Somehow along the way, I inherited the chairmanship from George O. And, the folks that make this happen really do care about it and care a lot about the people who get in. And the neat part of this is, in the Baseball Hall of Fame, it's only the baseball writers who kind of control things. Here, anybody can nominate anyone.
You mean anybody who's on a staff of a corps or a corps director or a voting member of DCI?
Joe Fan.
Anybody.
Anybody can nominate someone for the Drum Corps International Hall of Fame. They write a letter of nomination and then pull together 2 support letters for that nomination. And they submit that then electronically through the DCI Hall of Fame channels. And that goes into the pot for consideration for the ballot by the Hall of Fame committee, which is made up of 9 venerable Hall of Famers. They're the ones who set the ballot.
Okay, so anybody can make a nomination. Is anybody eligible for nomination?
Yes, they are. Now, I wouldn't go making any kind of a fanciful nomination. We obviously are looking for people who have made long-term contributions to the activity, who've had a substantial impact on the activity, people who've made a difference. But that can come from any part of the activity. And it tends to skew toward, if you look at who's in the Hall of Fame, kind of toward designers, arrangers, instructors, but also some administrators and corps directors. And we're introduced a rule change this year that is going to give the committee a little more leeway with the legacy category. We've got 2 categories. We've got contemporary for people who are still involved in the activity. And then we've got legacy for people who have been out for a while, but have made some long-term contributions. And maybe today's drum corps fan might not know the name, but people who were involved in the activity a decade ago may say, oh, yeah, geez, I thought he'd been in the Hall of Fame a long time ago. So now that 9-member Hall of Fame committee is going to have a little bit more to say about who gets on that legacy ballot and how they may get into the Hall of Fame.
Okay, so what specifically are you talking about here? Who else would be eligible for the legacy category under this change?
Well, let me tell you what drove the change. 2 guys got in last year, Jay Murphy from the Blue Devils and Mike Boo.
Sure.
All of us within the activity, all of us connected with DCI know how much Mike Boo contributed to chronicling our history and helping to establish a digital presence online. The guy was just a consummate writer, in addition to having been a corps member, arranger, composer. Mike had been nominated at least 2 times prior, at least, and maybe 3. I'm trying to remember what I saw in the records. Mike never got in. Mike's qualifications did not change in the year or 2 since his last nominations. The only thing that changed, as we know, unfortunately, is Mike Boo passed away. Mike Boo was elected overwhelmingly to the Drum Corps International Hall of Fame last year. Wouldn't it have been a nice thing if we could have accorded him that honor while he was still with us to appreciate it? It would have meant the world to him. I think if the Hall of Fame committee had a little more flexibility in helping to set that ballot, well, maybe they could have gotten Mike on there and we could have done that. So that really forced us to think about things in a whole different way and just maybe be a little more generous and considerate of those folks who might not grab the headlines of the great arrangers who would be the ones you normally think of first for Hall of Fame election.